Have you ever sat next to someone on a public bus, made small talk for 10 minutes, and then found out almost by accident that they own 3 businesses and haven't worried about a bill in a decade? They didn't look any different than you. They weren't wearing a sign. They probably paid the same fare you did and checked their phone the same way everyone else on that bus does. So what's actually going on there? Here's the thing nobody wants to admit. The 1% aren't running some secret playbook that's locked away in a vault somewhere. They're just running a completely different set of assumptions about money than the ones most of us grew up with. My name's Marcus, and I've spent the last several years reverse engineering how wealthy people actually think, not what they post on social media, but how they genuinely operate day to day. If you're ready to stop spinning your wheels financially, do me a favor and hit subscribe. Because today we're breaking down the exact mental shifts that separate people who build real wealth from people who stay stuck no matter how hard they work. Let's get something out of the way first. Most of us were handed a financial rule book before we were old enough to understand what money even was. Go to school, get good grades, land a stable job, save what's left over, and hope it all works out by retirement. Nobody told us that rulebook was written for a completely different economy, and honestly, it was never designed to make anyone rich. It was designed to keep the lights on. Meanwhile, the people building serious wealth threw that rulebook out a long time ago, and they replaced it with something entirely different. Let's talk about what that actually looks like. The first shift is learning to see the difference between what actually builds wealth and what just looks like wealth. This sounds obvious until you actually apply it to your own life. Most people think a nice car, a big house, or designer clothes are signs of financial success. But if you look closer, most of that stuff is funded by debt, financed month to month, and draining cash flow instead of creating it. The wealthy ask a different question before they spend $1. Does this asset pay me, or do I pay it? A rental property that cash flows every month pays you. A leased SUV does not. This one distinction alone explains why plenty of millionaires drive unremarkable cars while people living paycheck to paycheck are financing luxury vehicles they can barely afford. The second shift is about zooming out on your timeline. People who stay financially stuck tend to think in weeks and months. Can I make it to Friday? Can I cover rent this month? People building wealth think in 5, 10, 20-year windows. That changes every decision they make. Instead of asking whether they can afford something today, they ask what that choice does to their position a decade from now. Instead of treating a bonus as spending money, they treat it as fuel for something bigger. This isn't about deprivation. It's about understanding that decisions compound, for better or worse, whether you're paying attention to them or not. Here's where it gets interesting, though. That long-term thinking doesn't stop at investing. It extends to how they treat their own skills and knowledge. Wealthy people rarely stop learning after they land a job or finish school. They treat their own brain like an appreciating asset, constantly upgrading it through books, mentors, courses, and rooms full of people smarter than they are. Most people coast the moment they get comfortable. The wealthy never really get comfortable, because comfort is expensive in the long run. That brings us to the third shift, and it's a big one. Wealthy people are borderline obsessed with actually understanding how money works. Not in a vague, someday I should learn about investing kind of way, but in a genuinely hands-on way. They study compound growth, they understand how taxes actually function, and they know the difference between asset classes instead of just throwing money at whatever their cousin mentioned at Thanksgiving. Most people avoid this stuff because it feels intimidating or boring. The wealthy lean into the complexity because they know financial literacy isn't a nice-to-have. It's the actual foundation everything else sits on. But knowledge alone doesn't explain it either, because plenty of financially literate people are still broke. What actually separates the wealthy is psychological control. They understand that building money is mostly behavior, not intelligence. They've trained themselves to stay calm when markets crash, to delay gratification without resentment, and to make decisions based on strategy instead of panic. When the market tanks, most people sell everything and lock in their losses. The wealthy see the exact same crash as a discount rack. The fourth shift is about creating instead of just consuming. Most people spend their entire working life trading hours for dollars, then spending those dollars on products and services that make somebody else rich. It's a closed loop that resets every single paycheck. Wealthy people flip the entire model. They focus on owning the thing that other people are lining up to buy, whether that's a business, a piece of real estate, or a skill so specialized that people are willing to pay a premium for it. You don't need to build the next billion-dollar company to apply this. You just need to stop being purely a consumer and start being, in some small way, an owner. The fifth shift might be the most misunderstood one of all, and it's about risk. Most people assume the wealthy are wild gamblers throwing money at long shots. In reality, it's almost the opposite. They understand that the real risk isn't losing money in the market, it's leaving money sitting in an account that barely earns anything, while inflation quietly erodes it every single year. Doing nothing feels safe. It isn't. It's just a slower way of losing. At the same time, poor financial habits often carry massive hidden risk elsewhere, like relying entirely on one paycheck from one employer with zero backup plan. Wealthy people spread that risk across multiple income streams on purpose, so no single setback can take them out. The sixth shift is taxes, and not in the way people usually assume. Wealthy people aren't hiding money in some shady offshore account. They're simply paying close attention to the tax code and using every legal tool available inside it. Most people only think about taxes once a year, in a mild panic every spring. Wealthy people think about the tax impact of nearly every financial decision they make, because they understand it's never about what you earn, it's about what you actually get to keep. The seventh shift is leverage, and this goes way beyond loans and mortgages. It's about using other people's time, expertise, and capital to move faster than you could on your own. Most people try to do absolutely everything themselves, partly out of pride, and partly because asking for help feels like admitting weakness. Wealthy people hire the accountant, the advisor, the specialist, because they understand their own time is the one resource they can never get back. The eighth shift sounds contradictory at first, but wealthy people tend to be remarkably generous, just in ways that also make financial sense. They understand that solving real problems for real people is usually how genuine wealth gets built in the first place, so generosity and self-interest end up pointing the same direction more often than people expect. The ninth shift is about information. Wealthy people are picky about where they get their financial opinions from. They're not scrolling for hot stock tips at midnight. They're reading long-term research, they're paying attention to real trends, and crucially, they act once they have enough information, instead of researching forever and never actually doing anything. The 10th shift is velocity. Most people treat savings like a trophy to admire. Once it hits a certain number, then let it sit untouched. Wealthy people see that same pile of cash as fuel, something meant to move, get reinvested, and generate more of itself. And the 11th shift is what I'd call strategic impatience. Most people are impatient about the wrong things, panicking over short-term dips in an investment, while staying frozen for years in a job or situation that isn't working. Wealthy people are the opposite. They're relentless about fixing what's broken right now, but incredibly patient with anything they've built for the long haul. Look, I just walked you through 11 shifts that quietly separate people who build wealth from people who stay stuck. Most people will watch this, nod along, and change absolutely nothing. That's just how it goes. But if even a few of these actually click for you, and you start applying them this week instead of someday, your financial trajectory looks completely different a decade from now. The rulebook is right there. Whether you pick it up is entirely on you.